At the time of recording this video, it is July 18th, 2025, and we still haven't received the fall off. But what if I told you that the album already dropped and you don't even know it? Let's travel to Earth 26, the multiverse where the J. Cole stands mentally living and where Cole already dropped his long-awaited album, The Fall Off. Let me take you back to early 2024, where we are fresh off the Drake and J. Cole collab song, First Person Shooter. Drake would drop a Scary Hours add-on with a song called Evil Ways.
This mean it just may see us on your block like the street parade.
At the top playing keep away with the crown. I stay out of beef, see niggas DNA get rearranged. I'm with Drizzy in Atlanta, so many hitters with that nigga they could beat the Braves.
A joint tour was then announced, and at this point in time, Cole was coming off a 3-year feature run and a pretty underrated project in the offseason. Combine this all together, and you could say that Cole had the rap game in a chokehold, and all he needed to do to finally cement his name above the other two guys was follow up with his magnum opus, The Fall Off. First announced in 2019 and originally scheduled for a 2020 release, The Fall Off was slated to be Cole's last major album, if the title already wasn't a giveaway. Revenge of the Dreamers 3 was released in 2019, and the off-season was released in 2021, so the assumption was that J. Cole's It's a Boy project would follow shortly after, but we never got it. It's my theory that Might Delete Later was originally the It's a Boy project, as it seemed like an interlude into The Fall Off. In the world the J. Cole fans live in, It's a Boy and Might Delete Later were separate drops, with Might Delete Later being a surprise drop, cementing his 2024 reign as the #1 rapper and squashing any plans that Kendrick and Drake might have had for running the year. But what really happened is that Cole clicked up with Drake and for whatever reason changed or pushed back the project It's a Boy and replaced it with Might Delete Later. Going into 2024 and seeing that first episode drop felt really nice as someone who listens to Cole. He was on tour with Drake at the time, and the marketing campaign was simple but effective. A retro, grainy, found footage style rollout done right will never fail. And it really gave us a fly on the wall POV of Cole's crafting process and life on tour. We knew The Fall Off was coming, but this was something new, and it felt like the prelude to something greater. But Cole miscalculated, thinking that the slick shots he threw with Drake towards Kendrick would go unnoticed. This crucial mistake of waking the sleeping giant is what led to the great rap war of 2024. Now remember, in the world the J. Cole stands live in, this whole battle didn't even happen. Kendrick would return fire by collabing with Future and dropping his response to First Person Shooter like that.
The big three, nigga, it's just big me, nigga.
Now, Pie, the song from Might Delete Later, could have easily been the diss track instead of 7-Minute Drill. Not only do I think he's sending shots to Kendrick on this song,
His album dropped, it was trash, I literate like I can't spell it. He's no killer, trust me. Beneath his chosen identity, there is still a pussy. Period. Blood spilling monthly, rather weekly.
but he clicked up with Ab-Soul and Daylight, two of Kendrick's proteges, which would have made the effort sting even more in my opinion.
We roll the dice and hope the soul will tie. Reap the fruit with no bow tie. Sensitive Pisces still thugging, baby, ain't afraid to cry.
With a strong sounding project, Cole probably planned to ride into summer 2024 on a high, but of course, that isn't what happened.
Phone call, they say that somebody dissing. You want some attention, it come with extension. First shit was classic, your last shit was tragic. Your second shit put niggas to sleep, but they gassed it.
J. Cole would drop his response to Kendrick called 7-Minute Drill and immediately take it back 2 days later at Dreamville Fest, leaving Drake to fend off the wrath of the boogeyman on his own.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I moved in a way that I feel bad on. I try to like jab my nigga back and I try to keep it friendly, but at the end of the day, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. So I felt conflicted because I'm like, bro, I know I don't really feel no way, but the world wanna see blood. And I got my niggas like, what you gonna do, Cole? I must have had 1,000 missed calls. I couldn't even answer my shit. Nigga, it's wartime. Man, that's the lamest shit I ever did in my fucking life. I pray that my nigga really didn't feel no way, and if he did, my nigga, I got my chin out.
A few diss tracks and a lyrical evisceration later, Drake would lose the battle and Kendrick would go to perform at the pop-out, cementing his win as the undisputed GOAT of the Big Three.
Think I won't drop the low K? I still got PTSD. Mother the Big Three. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga,
And J. Cole, well, he would disappear off the face of the earth. Well, not entirely. He would eventually pop out with Grippy.
Now she in my phone with a nickname. It's
grippy.
Skim past that part, yeah. Cole would go into hiding immediately after Kendrick's victory lap, whereas Drake would do everything in his power to double down on not taking a break. 100 gigs, petty sub posts, bot and unhinged stan accounts pushing narratives, some sexy songs for you, his Australian tour, which his New Zealand fans are probably still waiting for him to finish, and now his new album, Iceman. J. Cole, however, would do the direct opposite and completely disappear off the face of the earth. Probably the smartest thing for him to do, because that apology wasn't going away anytime soon. Cole had rappers that wouldn't dare call out his name the year previously, dissing him for apologizing. And I expected it, and the Cole fan in me kinda wanted it to happen. A bunch of rappers for Cole to embarrass on wax would be good PR to show that he still got it. But nothing, not even a peep. Outside of being seen a couple times in public, Cole would remain a ghost for the remainder of 2024. This proves to me that Cole definitely had plans of dropping the fall off later that year or early 2025, because that would be a huge opportunity missed. This silent period of time did some serious damage to J. Cole's image, as people got to sit and see his character in full for the first time. Cole was always able to maintain the humble, down-to-earth, low-key guy, but after the battle, all his actions, his flaws, and errors in the beef were under a microscope. Kanye dissed you.
Play J. Cole, get the pussy dry. Play this shit back 130 times.
You said nothing, and that it was all love. Rappers like Freddie Gibbs dissed you. You stayed silent.
Rabbit bacon cakes and all of these gon' get a piece. Gangsta Kane, I ain't ashamed like Jermaine. I won't delete, nigga.
Women lie, but Joey don't. Might delete later. I know damn sure that Joey won't.
And Drake slights you.
I don't care what Cole think, that dot shit was weak as fuck.
So Drake is dissing J. Cole now? Is losing all these friends really got to me? Family only feels like a riddle to affiliates that thought they were safe because they played the middle. Now, a lot of people played the middle, but J. Cole famously did.
And you dropped Port Antonio.
So lines got crossed, perhaps regrettably. My friends went to war, I walked away with all they blood on me. That means I gotta dig up dirt and pay the whole team of algorithm bot niggas just to sway the whole thing. If you refuse to shoot the gun, don't mean the gun ain't deadly.
One of the many things that sucks about this song is that when you don't pay attention to what he's saying, it sounds really good. But I hated it. I hated the moral grandstanding of, oh, I'm above the battle and it's childish.
They instigate the fuckery because it's profitable. I pulled the plug because I seen where that was about to go. They wanted blood, they wanted clicks to make their pockets grow.
Oh, I wouldn't have lost the battle, I would have lost the bro.
They see this fire in my pen and think I'm dodging smoke. I wouldn't have lost the battle, dog, I would have lost the bro. To be considered best, to live and rest, the weight of both things. I understand the thirst of being first that made them both swing.
And Drake, you'll always be my guy.
They say I'm picking sides, hey, don't you lie on me, my nigga. To start another war, hey Drake, you'll always be my nigga.
Nobody wants to hear that. And given how silent J. Cole was leading up to this song, I had a feeling that this was going to be his angle post-battle. Tried to make it that the rap feud was beneath him, that Kendrick only won due to botting, and that despite Drake being mad at me, I will always be your friend. And in the world that the J. Cole stands live in, Might Delete Later and It's a Boy rode the summer all the way until the fall with Port Antonio's release. The song is received well, and as J. Cole professes his love for Drake, the official rollout for the fall off begins. In November 2024, Cole would then go on to drop The Inevitable podcast along his right-hand man, Ibrahim Hamid, and filmmaker Scott Laser. They would use this to tell his story, which also included previous unreleased music. This would serve as a good treat to his fans, but to everyone else, people were left unimpressed, as Cole was clearly trying his best to move on from what happened, as if he never entertained the battle to begin with. Releasing your old music on streaming is a good idea, especially since his fanbase has been requesting some of his earlier deep cuts on platforms, but this clearly wasn't the right time to act as if you successfully bypassed the most important hip-hop battle of all time. You see, the thing is, Cole, you didn't. On Earth 2-6, the J. Cole stans were jumping for joy with the release of the podcast, as the fall-off promo run was in full swing. Jay-Z would see Cole's success firsthand and give Cole the Super Bowl performance of 2025. The new year would follow, and Cole would waste no time in dropping the song Clouds, his second single off the fall-off, where Cole would show his rapping capability over another nice beat.
I'm that bass in your trunk, the bullet that missed Trump, the gun at jam, cause it seemed God had other plans.
Cole would add it to his catalog and give a wicked performance at the 2025 Super Bowl, boosting his streams to the highest it's ever been before. At this point, everyone was saying, Drake who? Kendrick where? Cole was the undisputed champion of 2024, and with solid projects in Might Delete Later and It's a Boy, the time had finally come for the Fall Off. On February 21st, 2025, the Fall Off released to critical acclaim, cementing J. Cole as the clear number one of the big three. But of course, in the real world, none of this really happened. Cole would drop clouds and his fans would eat it up, but the general public for the most part was left just as confused, irritated, and even annoyed as Cole continued to double down on being above the battle and moving on like nothing even happened. Outside of that, Cole has been seen throughout the end of 2024 and 2025 riding his bike or randomly at an ice cream parlor, which I'm assuming is a part of the Fall Off rollout. J. Cole was already a guy that likes to stay down and be low-key, so what better way to promote the Fall Off by looking like you actually fell off? It's a unique marketing tactic, and I feel that it would be more effective had Cole handled the rap beef differently. Cole obviously wouldn't perform at the Super Bowl, and Kendrick would go on a run with his GNX album and joint tour with SZA in the summer of 2025. Given all the moves Cole was making from 2023 till now, it is my strong belief that he originally intended to drop the Fall Off at the start of 2025. But since Kendrick went on his never-ending victory lap and Drake was clearly showing he would never get over the battle with the lawsuit, it forced Cole to wait out the noise. The only issue is there's no end in sight for the aftermath of this hip-hop war. And now Cole has the impossible task in finding out when he should drop his album. And that's the real world that we live in. On Earth 2-6, the world of the J. Cole stands, the Fall Off already released. You just didn't know it yet, because unlike the stands, we live in reality. Now, me personally, I will still listen to the Fall Off because I want it to be good. But if the album sounds anything like Port Antonio, I will hate it. I don't want to hear that you're over the battle. I don't want to hear you profess your love for Drake. I don't want to hear that you're the best and that you could have proven it, but you took the higher road. And I don't want to hear you assume that rappers are using bots to win because you deem the W as inauthentic. And I feel a lot of people feel the same. They may respect him, but they definitely have put Cole into a box now. And given how he acted during and after the battle, they have now pushed him into a specific criteria. J. Cole is a wordsmith, so I'm sure he'll be able to find ways to rap about other things. But he is now in the toughest position of his career to date, because now the humble, down-to-earth, stay out of the way facade is over. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Cole is able to maintain his position in the big three. I don't doubt J. Cole. I have full confidence in him to succeed and put out a good body of work. But like I said, personally, I don't want to hear him rap about things that he rapped about on Port Antonio on the Fall Off. The Fall Off is literally you coming here to prove why you were in the big three. You have to prove that. And I do have belief in J. Cole to do that because he always makes good music. But like I said earlier, he is in the toughest position of his career now because he's never had this much scrutiny. There's never been this much eyes and attention on him to produce a good body of work. Before, obviously, there was pressure, but he was always able to handle the pressure very well, especially going on his feature run over the last few years. So we can't forget that he's able to beat the odds. He's done it many times in his career before, but this is definitely the most difficult and hardest point of his career. And he's probably going to have a hard time winning back the majority with his music. I can only hope for the best. I do hope that the album is successful, and I still think it will be a moment for hip hop. J. Cole is still one of my top guys. I obviously still look at him very sideways for how he moved during the beef, and I cannot stand his stands. They are the worst things to happen to hip hop next to the Drake stands. And the stands are partially the reason why I even made this video to begin with. It's just kind of embarrassing to see because I felt like before the beef, J. Cole and Kendrick's fan base, they pretty much overlapped. Like, I always liked J. Cole and I always liked Kendrick, and going into the 2010s, obviously hearing their music all the time, they were my two guys. They were my 1 and 2. Cole, in terms of the big three in my ranking, I got Kendrick, Cole, and obviously Drake at third. But outside of what he did during the beef and me looking at him sideways, obviously because of how he carried himself, his decision is something that we can laugh at and poke fun at and pick apart. But at the same time, I never had a disdain for him for what he did. But I feel like based on how Kendrick handled the beef, after Cole apologized, he never really acknowledge Cole like that. He never dissed him. He may have said some things about him on Not Like Us about Drake doing him dirty and stuff like that, but Kendrick never dissed Cole after like that. He mentioned him on Euphoria, but he never dissed him going forward. So I don't understand why his fan base is so anti-Kendrick. It's actually weird. Like, they'd rather just, support Drake than support Kendrick just out of spite. And I don't know if it's because Cole apologized or they're mad at how Cole carried himself. But you got to direct that energy to him, not to Kendrick, because at the end of the day, as far as I know, they were cool before the beef. Obviously something happened, but that mutual respect, I believe, is still there. I don't know what the personal relationship is between the two, but I strongly believe that mutual respect as rappers is still there between the two. And they're some of the two top lyricists that we have in the game right now. You can say what you want, but they are some of the two top guys, and they've been doing it for a long time. So I just don't understand why his fan base or his stan base, the hardcore stans, are so anti-Kendrick and coming for, you know, Kendrick fans and just anything that Kendrick is doing, even attacking the people, you know, next to him. Like they're attacking SZA, but then they're saying that they care so much about black women and that Kendrick allegedly beat Whitney, but at the same time you're bullying SZA. So like it just doesn't make any sense, and you're just doing it out of slight. So, you know, his stan base is living in another world. They're just as bad as the Drake stans. And it's just the losing side acting out because they'll never get over it. These are the cons, in my opinion, of playing middleman. I never liked the middleman, to be honest with you. If I have beef with somebody and you're in the middle of it and you're friends with both of us and you're having a hard time deciding which side to be on, or you want to maybe play both sides, I'm going to tell you to stay over there. Middlemen are some of the most dangerous and untrusting people because they want to appease everyone. They may mean well sometimes, but that is an impossible situation to do. You can't play both sides. And J. Cole has been a middleman. In terms of the big three, he thinks that Kendrick and Drake are above him and that he's third because that's kind of the place that we put on him, and he's acknowledged that. But at the same time, he's always gone back and forth between supporting Drake and then supporting Kendrick, maybe doing a song with Kendrick and then doing a song with Drake. And that's fine because before the beef wasn't as serious. But now that we're here, he was trying to play middleman during the most intense time of the beef. And that will never work. So you have to choose a side. And he stayed on, oh, I want to be friends with both. But at the same time, he seems like his allegiance is more to Drake. But at the same time, he seems like he's fine with anybody talking bad about him, and he doesn't really care because he just wants to be the nice guy. So I don't really know what's going on with J. Cole. But right now you're seeing the cons 100% of playing the middleman, and that will never work. But yeah, I want the Fallout to succeed. I hope it is truly a good body of work. And I do still have some faith in J. Cole to deliver a wicked sounding project, especially since we're in a very good place in hip hop right now. But at the same time, I have been side-eyeing him a lot. A lot of the things he did during the beef, the way he behaved, him clinging to Drake despite Drake clearly not respecting him, especially after what he did, and I wouldn't either. I just don't understand it. It's like he just wants to play this humble guy, and the facade is over. Early J. Cole, Born Sinner J. Cole before, you know, Forest Hills Drive, ignorant J. Cole, that's my J. Cole right there. And he might have to tap back into that to show that you want it that bad, that you want that #1 spot. You're not trying to congratulate your brothers and say you're the #3. We want you to come and claim the #1 spot and prove to us that you want it, right? I want to hear a GNX from you. I want to hear an album that maybe going back to no features, maybe just you again, because you've already did it platinum with no features. So I think J. Cole has the capability to bring this body of work to life. It's just the question is it possible now? The fall off has definitely already been recorded, especially since him putting out Might Delete Later First. I think the fall off was already pretty much done at that point, but Daylight did confirm fall of last year that he did hear the fall off already. So the album is done. He's probably just working on it and tuning it up right now, but it's already going on 6 to 7 years since you even announced this album. So this body of work has to be your best album. Just like how I say Iceman has to be Drake's best album. They are both in a very similar position, just in their own way. It's going to be very difficult for them to try and win back the hip hop masses, because the general public, you can get them, but can you get the hip hop consumers, the general public within hip hop, to appreciate you again like they did before? That's going to be an uphill battle for the both of them, and J. Cole has a long way to go, but I do still have some hope there. So you guys let me know what you think about the fall off. When do you think it's coming? What do you think about J. Cole's behavior during the beef? How he acted towards Kendrick and Drake? Sound off and go crazy in the comments. I do appreciate all the support. Thank you once again for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. We're trying to reach the goal of 5,000 subscribers. 5,000 subscribers by the end of summer. Hopefully I can get there. But thank you so much again for all the support. Don't forget to stay blessed and stay tuned.
God, tell me, I don't want to talk on no selling. You know I got language barriers. There's no accent you can sell me. You're cold and ivory, you know I'm a selfish. The crown is heavy. I pray they ain't my real friends. If not,